Hello, in this video, we will continue to explore the effects of guilt on our lives. You can find content on our channel where I answer questions about the impact and solutions of shame, guilt, and similar topics. Without further ado, let's start examining how guilt can influence a person's future decisions. While guilt can manifest as an emotion in our daily lives, it often becomes a factor that directly influences our outlook on life. In fact, it can go beyond being just a factor affecting life and become the very essence of our perspective. There is no problem in the vital context when we can realize this. The real issue is not being able to recognize whether guilt is at the core of our outlook on life, for example, when we believe that our perspective on life is shaped by an entirely different foundation. Therefore, it is a greater problem for guilt not only to be felt as an emotion at certain times but to be the fundamental energy level of one's life. At this point, guilt, as an energy level, can have a significantly negative and destructive impact on a person's future decisions. Let's illustrate this with an example. If we consider the fundamental energy levels of life as transparent sheets of film in front of our eyes, guilt would be a black sheet of film. The deeper the guilt in a person, the darker the tone and intensity of the film sheet. If a person tries to see the world through a film sheet that has become so dark that almost no light passes through, what will they see? Literally nothing. We can easily predict that a person who cannot see anything about their future or life will likely have no plans or goals related to life or the future. From certain perspectives, there may be no problem in this situation. For example, it can be acceptable for someone who has climbed the steps of enlightenment. However, for someone on the path of progress, it may not be about being peaceful. The lack of an attempt to make decisions about the future is not a problem for them. However, this is not valid for a person living in the energy of guilt in our example because they still have desires for life and the future. Guilt energy always contains desire energy on its shadow side. Desire energy operates at a lower frequency than energy fields such as acceptance, love, and peace but is significantly higher than guilt energy. Therefore, we cannot say that desire would create a bigger problem for this person since it is at a higher level than guilt. However, it is a fact that the nature of their desires and the way they manifest can be problematic. The problem that guilt energy at milder levels carries is that it shapes one's desires related to life in a way that negatively affects their outlook on life without them being aware of it. Let's clarify what we mean. A person, unconsciously influenced by the impact of guilt, attracts things into their life that they can blame themselves for, either again or more. For example, they may want something that they believe will get them out of a situation, but when they obtain it, their situation remains unchanged. We have all experienced this from time to time. We want something and then when we get it, we cannot achieve the satisfaction we thought we would gain. The reason for this is that we desired it when our energy level was low. For a person whose general life level is at the guilt level, life gradually becomes a greater disappointment. Therefore, it can be clearly and comfortably stated that guilt energy, regardless of the level at which it is experienced, negatively affects human life. In the final part of the video, we will develop ideas about what we can do about this issue. The most accurate thing to do about this issue is to stop and wait. Stopping, waiting, and allowing the guilt energy to flow away is the best course of action. If waited long enough, guilt energy will lose its effect. Because stopping and waiting increase awareness, and human energy naturally shifts towards the positive. The negative energy field slowly dissipates and neutralization occurs first. Then, the outlook on life gradually changes, showing a positive orientation. Before making decisions about the future, it would be wise to pause, wait, and immerse yourself in the moment. Because when under the influence of negative energy fields such as guilt, you do not want to make a decision about your life. Therefore, when your view of life is anxious, angry, and hopeless, the first thing you need to do is remember the film sheet example and start stopping and waiting. Because if you stop and wait, the first thing you will notice is the film sheet that has been in front of your eyes all along. It's like sitting at home and watching the outside through a window. Just as when you watch outside from a window, after a while, you become unable to see the window separating you from what's happening outside. When delving into problems related to life, you forget which window you are looking through. Therefore, when things get tangled up and confused, stop and notice where you are looking at life and realize that there is a window in between. Perhaps there is no problem with life itself, but the problem may be that the window is dirty, maybe to the extent that the outside can no longer be seen. Instead of fighting with life or yourself experiencing life, cleaning the window will be sufficient. We conclude our video here. What I have shared in this video, as well as what I have shared on my channel, are not things said or tested without reason. As someone who has lived life in the underground of Dostoevsky for years and suffered for years, I can comfortably say that the real problem is not where you see the problem right now. Just try stopping and waiting for a bit. I love you all very much. Please take care of yourselves.